Is the FBI finally ready to show us the truth about Jeffrey Epstein? On today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, we dive into the FBI's upcoming release of Epstein cell footage, the Democratic Party's $20 million initiative to understand male voter loss, a viral video of Macron's wife seemingly slapping him, Tim Dillon's contentious CNN interview, and Skittles' decision to finally remove titanium dioxide from its ingredients. All that and much more coming up on today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, starting now.
The moment is here. This is our moment.
America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. This is episode 58. We are going to talk about the FBI is finally deciding to release videos about Jeffrey Epstein. Time and time again, American people have been imploring the government to release the Epstein files. Donald Trump and Pam Bondi said that this would happen. It hasn't happened yet. A lot of conservatives are really upset about this, including myself. And now the FBI deputy director has announced that the upcoming release of surveillance footage showing Jeffrey Epstein alone in his cell before his death is about to be released. This is breaking news. This is something that would completely take away the theory that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, which is something that I have believed almost the entire time. I thought the chance that Jeffrey Epstein actually killed himself was very slim, almost to none. The fact that the FBI is saying that he did, and then there is footage of it, does make a massive difference in the case. I do want to see the footage. I personally will not believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself until I see it myself. I need to see the footage to actually believe that there's not a bigger conspiracy going on, because the Epstein controversy and the Epstein files are one of the biggest things we'll probably ever see in our lifetime. It is something that is so tragic that it was able to happen, that someone was able to corrupt world leaders, politicians, movie stars, things of that nature, to be having sex with minors repeatedly and have it filmed on this remote island, and then when he's arrested for sex trafficking, no one else is arrested with him. So it's slightly confusing. Who is he trafficking to if he's arrested for trafficking, but we can't arrest any of the people who are actually molesting these children with him? I really hope that we're able to get this information soon. I hope that they release this video in the next few weeks. I'm guessing they will because they're talking about it now. I'm going to keep reporting on this. I'm going to continuously report on the Epstein files and on any new updates that have to do with Epstein, because like I said, I think it will be one of the biggest things that ever happens in our lifetime. I want to go on to our second topic. This is a pretty wild one. Democrats are spending $20 million to understand male voter loss. Give me the $20 million and I'll tell you why. It's ridiculous. They're calling it SAM, the acronym, Speaking with American Men, to analyze the decline in male voter support has declined on the Democratic Party because you have ostracized men. You have told men that they are bad, that they're toxically masculine just for being men. You told men that all the things that make them men are negative, especially white men. You really threw white men on the back burner, said you guys don't matter at all. You have white privilege. You're also a man, so nobody cares about you. You have continuously allowed women's sports to be ruined by men. You have done so many things that have pissed men off and have upset men and upset women as well. But the fact that Democrats are confused is why they're losing male voters and male support. What's exciting about being a Democrat for being a man right now? Like, especially if you're a white man. Oh, if you're a white man and you're a Democrat, like, I'm just gonna push for myself to not be able to have a job in the future over people who are less qualified than me. Like, why do we have female Secret Service employees? The same way that men should not be working in daycares. It is an abomination. If I walked into a daycare and I had a child and I saw it was an all-male daycare, I would turn around and leave so fast. One of the most ridiculous things that people don't understand, that there are differences between men and women, and that, yes, while they are equal, and they are not equal in skills and all the other things that go along with it. Men are stronger. Men are better negotiators. Women are better at caring for children. Women are more emotional, more nurturing, more caring. They notice more things. And ultimately, women are a lot smarter than men in most ways. But that doesn't mean that women should be doing all these things that men have been doing forever and have been doing well, and then now we're adding this DEI side of things, and you start seeing planes crashing. You saw the helicopter go right into the plane with a woman pilot. We've seen multiple planes flip over on runways with women pilots, and we've seen the female Secret Service agent, when Trump got shot, couldn't even holster her gun correctly. That's embarrassing. And I'm not saying women can't holster their guns correctly, but my point is, why in a position where it takes someone with physical strength and size, why do you have a woman there? Someone who's statistically smaller, weaker, slower, and everything you would need when it comes to a security job. It's something that's extremely disappointing, and that doesn't even have too much to do with the Democrats on why they're losing male votes. But to get back to why Democrats are losing male votes and male support, again, you can't ostracize men and tell them that they're toxically masculine for being men. You can't tell men that wanting a woman with a lower body count who hasn't slept with the entire town is toxic. You can't take being men away from men. You can't tell men that wanting to do hard tasks every day is a toxic trait. You can't tell men that wanting to put your pain in a box is a toxic trait. You can't tell men that wanting to do all the things that men have done for generations is toxic, because that itself is declining society. Men and women, like I said, are very on value, but men have built this society. Men can continue to build this society along with women, but you can't keep putting men on the back burner for women, and you can't say to white men specifically that, oh yeah, we're just going to allow every other race to take their turn. No more merit. It doesn't matter if you're better at this. It doesn't matter if you're smarter at this. Colleges put up someone hacked Princeton's college admissions, and they put all the SAT and ACT scores up, the averages, by race, which, whether you agree with that or not, it showed that DEI is ruining merit, that it's taking people who would not normally be in the college and allowing them to be in because they're a certain skin color or they're a certain gender. It's something that's so upsetting. I don't understand why the Democratic Party does not understand that ostracizing and pushing away men continuously is going to lose them votes. Men don't want to be Democrats because Democrats are not exciting, because Democrats hate men and have continuously hated men. All modern day feminism is hating men, and the Democrats have adopted modern day feminism as a huge part of their party. They were even airing ads that they would take like guys who they wanted to call like mans, and like it would be like a guy fixing a carburetor, a guy, I don't know, like throwing a football with his son or mowing his lawn or grilling or things like men activities, and they would have the men in this ad be like, oh, but like I'm not afraid to support my wife, support my daughter. Conservatives aren't afraid of that either, and men aren't afraid to support their wives and daughter. That doesn't mean that women should just be able to go get abortions and should be able to sleep with the entire town without any repercussions. What it does mean is you have to stop ostracizing and pushing away men. It's, again, just one of these ridiculous things where if nobody teaches them, and like they're never going to learn it, but Democrats hate men and have hated men for years, and now that they want to buy men back by trying to figure out where they lost them, you lost them because you became the anti-men party. That's what you became, the party against men. The Democrats absolutely suck at just accountability. One of the craziest things that they can't just be accountable for the fact that, oh, we pushed you guys away. We don't have to spend $20 million to figure out how we did that. It's very obvious how we did that. Pretty much everything we said and did over the last 8 years has just pushed men away, has continuously told men that you are toxically masculine just for being a man. And it's something that I've personally been offended by. I know many people, liberal and Democrat and conservative and Republican, who have all been very offended and upset by this. I want to go on to our next topic. I don't want to stay on one topic too long. For our third topic today, Macron's wife appears to slap him in a viral video. The French president, Emmanuel Macron, and his wife, Brigitte, were on a plane. They were exiting a plane on a tarmac, and as the door opened, you could see Brigitte slap Macron. It sparked discussions about the relationship. I think that when you see a video like this and then you see him go to the media the next day and say it's just them joking around, but it clearly wasn't, is very negative for men, and it only encourages more domestic violence. I think the domestic violence that happens with women, with men, needs to be discussed a lot more. It's not me saying that men hitting women is okay in any way, or we don't need to talk about that. Obviously we do, but that's already a very discussed topic. Women abusing men is not a very talked about topic in the same way that male pedophilia towards women children is a lot more talked about than female pedophilia towards male children, which is still just as much of a problem, but again, just not talked about enough. I think when things like this happen, like I said, and he goes out and he says it's just not a problem, that itself is a problem and creates a bigger problem for the future. And I also urge everybody to go check out Candace Owens on her YouTube page. Candace tweeted that boys will be boys because Candace thinks that Macron's wife is actually Macron's husband, and it's just a big secret ploy that no one's been able to find out. But the evidence actually is very overwhelming when you watch Candace Owens' docuseries. I'm not going to spoil it. I want you guys to go watch it yourselves. It's very interesting and intriguing, and it's something that gives a lot of insight into Macron and his wife. But this is something that, like I said, I stand against. I don't think it's okay for men to hit women or women to hit men. And I think in an instance like this, every single time you should leave. I don't think that divorce is usually my go-to. I think most marriages should stay together. I'm against no-fault divorce. I'm very against no-fault divorce. But I think that in a domestic violence situation, especially when you're a high-profile individual, the best decision is just leave your wife, leave your husband in that scenario, because it's only going to get worse. There's going to be a time where he gets even more embarrassed in the future. And if he doesn't, we'll all still know that this happened and that he did nothing about it and just blew it over like a joke. It's something that's embarrassing for him and embarrassing for men everywhere. So I urge him to take the next step. File for divorce against her, leave her, whatever you need to do, take some separation time. But it's not okay that your wife is hitting you the same way it wouldn't be okay if you were to hit your wife. If Macron was to hit his wife in front of the cameras, it would have been public outrage. He would have been impeached already, probably in jail. But no, because it's a woman hitting a man, it doesn't matter. It's one of the most ridiculous things ever. I don't understand the politics behind it. And feminists love to stay quiet when things like this happen. Feminists love to talk when a man hits a woman, when Ray Rice beat his wife, or things like that, which again, I understand it. I'm not saying any of that's okay. But they are extremely quiet and painfully quiet when Bridget slaps Macron in a private airplane on a tarmac. Just absolutely embarrassing for feminists everywhere. I want to get to our next topic. Dillon, his CNN interview is sparking a lot of controversy. So comedian Dillon went on a CNN interview with Ella Reeve, and it's gone viral. It has millions of views. They talked about political discourse. They talked about the election. They talked about podcasts. They talked about Trump, Vance. They really highlighted everything. I think it was one of the most ridiculous interviews I ever watched. I pretty much watched Ella Reeve try and attack Dillon for things that just weren't true. She basically, and she would make untrue claims almost the entire time as well. At one point during it, she said that Joe Rogan wouldn't allow certain podcasters to do CNN interviews. Who is Joe Rogan? The almighty God? Who does this woman think she is, even asking such stupid questions? Dillon did whatever he could to continuously shut her down in every way. She even went at Dillon for interviewing J.D. Vance before the election. I don't care if you're a Democrat, conservative, independent, or who you are. If you have a chance to interview the possible vice president, the president of either party, take that chance, because it's a conversation that in some way will grow and inspire and change your life. It is a conversation with an extremely influential person, whether they get elected or not, and it's something where you'll be able to push back on things you maybe do or don't agree with, and almost nothing negative could come from that. So the fact that she's attacking him for interviewing the vice president, which is something that multiple people have done, is despicable. The fact that she said that he's part of the new establishment, that Theo Vaughn, Dillon, the Nelk boys, Joe Rogan and Flagrant are the new establishment, that these comedians are the new media. Which in some ways she's correct, but in saying they're the new establishment is ridiculous. Like Theo Vaughn, the ex-cokehead, who, like, every other sentence he makes is a joke. And me saying ex-cokehead is not a shot at Theo. I love Theo, but my point is, like, the people who have billions of dollars at CNN gonna say that he is the new establishment. Like, it's one of the most ridiculous things. Like, Theo Vaughn was talking to Donald Trump about how cocaine makes you feel like an owl. Yeah, he's the new establishment, though. It just goes back to Democrats have no idea what they're doing. They're confused why they lost the vote. Right there. That's why you lost the male vote. Those podcasts are extremely popular with young men. You go on an interview with one of the most popular comedians and podcasters, and you just try and rip all over him. It seems like a nice conversation because she keeps her voice calm, but the entire time she's just giving him little attacks saying, you're doing this, it seems like you're doing this, why are you doing this? this. Why is she pushing back so hard on the fact that he's an American supporting free speech? Why is she pushing back so hard on the fact that he wants to support the vice president and the president and understand their values and let his viewers understand their values as well? There's nothing wrong with that. She didn't have a problem when Kamala went on Call Her Daddy. She didn't have a problem with any of those other things. Kamala's biggest mistake was not going on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's always been a big podcast, but the amount of power the Democrats just put in Joe Rogan's hands by Kamala not doing Joe Rogan and her losing is astronomical. Joe Rogan is now one of the leaders in media because of this. He has always had one of the most watched podcasts and influential podcasts, but the fact that now, whether that has anything to do with it or not, CNN is obviously making it sound like it's a really big deal. So they're putting more and more power in Joe Rogan's hands, and they continuously relying as well, saying that all stand-up comedians are conservatives, when Joe Rogan himself is a liberal. Joe Rogan himself has been aligned with the Democratic Party for so long, and the reason he's not now is because of all the things I was just saying. You went woke, you ostracized white men, you said that working out wasn't necessary, you wanted Democrats are far too accepting of everything, and I understand being accepting, but if you have a fat person, you need to tell them they're fat. If you have a person who doesn't shut up, you need to tell them to shut up. Conservatives understand this, Democrats do not. It's why we are successful and Democrats continuously are failing. They make jokes about this in TV shows and media all the time, and I get that's just TV shows and media, but it stems from the fact that Democrats love to lose. Maybe they don't act like they love it outside, but if they didn't love to lose, why would they do it? Why would they continuously push away the largest voter base in the country, white men? It's one of the most ridiculous things. CNN and Democrats have completely lost their way. I'm going to go on to our last topic for the day. It's going to be a short one. Skittles is finally deciding to remove titanium dioxide from its ingredients. Are you kidding me? This is used in cosmetic products. It's used in paint and things like that. The fact that we're consuming that, and specifically children. I get everyone loves Skittles and candy, but kids are the ones who are eating candy the most. Why are we allowing that? Why are these things in our food? It is such a problem, the poison being put into our bodies. The fact that people are on welfare, on taxpayer dollars, because companies are poisoning them in this country with titanium dioxide, sugar, corn, oils, all these terrible things that should be banned in the United States the same way they're banned in Canada, Europe, and a lot of other places. One of the only things, there's a few good things about Canada, but one of the biggest things I always commend them on is how fast they banned a lot of the unhealthy food products that we allow in the United States today. This needs to stop. If it hasn't fully stopped by the end of Donald Trump's term, I would be very upset about that. I'm James Pascalides. This is episode 58 of America Unfiltered. I'm signing off today. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.